anything like me, taking a peek in someone's journal can be both exciting and intimidating, especially if they've got a visual journal. So I want to share with you what's inside some of my journals and my evolution with adding visuals to mine in an effort to have you see that you too can do this. You don't have to be an artist. You just have to have the desire to want to add a little razzle dazzle to your pages. So this is one of my journal entries where I was giving a talk and I needed to be able to keep myself a little organized in my talk. So this was my attempt at having the main points in one color and then whatever I was going to say just there so that I could see it. Now, if I had to do this over again, I would have had big bullet points, and I've got some bullet points here, but they are not easy to read. Hence, when I went to a conversation, it was a Creative Mornings, and the speakers were dropping all of these gems. And so what I did was captured the big gems in boxes. I knew the perfectionist in me would have a fit if I tried to draw what they were talking about. So instead I used letters, characters, the weight of the ink and everything coming out of my pen to let me do what I needed to do. And so this is something that I absolutely love whenever I see it, because it allowed me to do what I was trying to do. This is also, again, one of those attempts where you're just trying to capture the big points that people are making when they're talking to you. I also love doing like a title page if I'm going to attend a talk or give a talk. It just makes it easier for me if I'm carrying around a single notebook. Now, this is not as spectacular as what I just showed you, but again, it's an attempt at breaking up the information. If I had to do it over again, I would have probably used a highlighter to separate out sections, just so that it would have been easier for me to come back and recall this information at a later date. So one of the ways, and also carrying a smaller notebook with you when you're going to a talk, complete game changer. Instead of you carrying one that's this size, it's like your typical 5.5 by 8.5 notebook. Another thing you can do, watercolor your pages. Simple, easy, doesn't have to be perfect. Playing around with ink, easy way to add some color to your journal pages. Love doing this, and this is just me adding in whatever is here. I have no clue. I haven't gone back to read this stuff, but I just love the idea of opening up a journal and saying, oh, I love this. I love everything about it. It's not about being perfect. This was about just putting marks on paper, color on paper, experimenting with some backgrounds. This was not the perfect notebook for that. Lots of words here, but again, the color makes me want to come back to the page and just see what's on it. Regular writing, again, just that, adding that color. I love a mind map. Love a mind map. This is another great way to capture ideas when you're at a talk. Put the author's name, the speaker's name right here. Put, if you're watching a show, put the name of the show right here. And then talk about the different big things, big ideas that come out of it. With this one, what I did was did it all in black and white first. So just wrote the big ideas down. Then I came in later and added color for the big blocks. So with this was about abundance, apparently a conversation about abundance, and then nurture, touch, connect, see, and then various things that connected to what abundance was at that time. Again, another mind map. So what I realized that I did with this one was, this was the first version of the mind map. This is the second version of the mind map. Love a mind map. I mean, I cannot express to you how much I love them, because they really do offer you an easy way to get all of your ideas out and down, and then find the connection points of what you want. So apparently I wrote down here, that abundance was overflowing, fullness, wealth, and then these various touch points, and then the touch, quality time, physical activity, family time, etc., etc. So yet another way to add some type of interest to your visual journals, notebooks. I love starting off a new notebook, set some intentions. This particular year, I put down being delusional and carrying on with some main character energy. And another reason that I love this one, oh, right here. This is why you don't need to know how to be an artist. All you need are 5 basic elements of drawing. This comes from Sketchnote book. I will show that to you in a little bit. If you can draw a square, a circle, a triangle, a line, and a dot, you can draw a house. You can draw a book. You can draw a coffee mug. Ideas, not art. This is a complete shifting of your mindset that you are capturing ideas. You're not trying to do these major big drawings. You can look at this and kind of tell it's a whirl. Is it perfect? No, but I can look at it and tell it's a whirl. If I'm drawing the home button, a phone, I can kind of guess it's that. That's a terrible phone, but you know, you get the point. Probably a web page or something like that. And this is just, again, trying to capture those bigger ideas. Here I was drawing my morning drinks, typically things I might drink, the coffee. And I put down that I liked having mine with whipped cream and some honey. Tea, I have a preference for green tea with a touch of honey. Strawberry and mango with blueberry smoothie. Water, of course. I like mine ice cold, especially during the hot summer months. And then I love a mimosa, but a proper mimosa is with a splash of juice. So if you don't know how to make a proper mimosa, we can't get down. So look at how I drew the morning drinks here. And then here's another way that I captured the same thing with the morning beverages and then went and pointed around there. The drawings, like look at the water drawing and then look at the water drawing over here. One's a little more simple than this one, the tea, a little more simple than this one, the smoothie, the juice. You just get to see how you can simplify these things. And then other things that I can draw. So I can draw a set of cups. I have a whole bunch of teacups and coffee cups in my cabinet. I can draw a set of cups, kids' beverages, beverages in containers, bottle drinks, non-alcoholic beverages, kawaii drinks, you know, put some little eyeballs on things, drinks with straws. So there's so much stuff that you can do. Here I was doing treehouse ideas. So I was listening to something and it just talked about different types of tree houses. So simple sketches of different types of tree houses and then what the tree house might look like up in the tree. Again, it's not perfect, but you get the idea, and that's really all that matters here. This was me taking it to another level by finding someone who did these beautiful, I'll show you his book too. He does these beautiful drawings of buildings, and I loved this so much because instead of me trying to make it perfect, you get it. If you were to see this building, so apparently it's in Provence. If you were to see this building, you would know what this building is. There's just enough detail to make it exciting. Same artist had me inspired, and I'm now just drawing houses. There are houses all stuffed up in here. Here's another one. Oh my God. Again, not perfect, but you get the idea. I also love playing around with just lettering. This is where you get to practice in these types of notebooks and journals, is that this is not about perfection. This is about you just enjoying the process of drawing and experimenting. And notice the simple way that if this wasn't here, I can add color to the page by using a highlighter and then the words. To me, it's just a nice way to break up the page, and you can do it. Here we go with my mind maps. Y'all know I love a mind map. This one here, I'm trying to figure out what was the main one, and because I haven't added any color to it. Apparently it was plants, and then it was house plants, outdoor trees. I don't know why I was doing this. And then over here, flowers. So I was going and mind mapping. Another great way to capture ideas. And again, another mind map. Notice adding color to the page. But pets, no idea. Oh, you know what? Now I remember the why. I was going to draw and I was making a connection between what type of pets. So pets that were friends. And then these were friends who have pets. What type of pets do they have? These two friends have cats. These friends over here also have a cat. There was some method to this. But anyways, my maps, we love them. What else do I have in here if I'm trying to learn new little drawing techniques, I will use a pencil. I don't think I'm very good with drawing faces, but what I realize is that there is an art to drawing faces. So love a good lip, and I will go and write down and draw the way that things are supposed to be. So these are like the nose is a third away from the middle of the lip, which is a third away from that little part of your chin where some people have dimples, which is a third away from the bottom of the face, and where the eyebrows are, and all of that. And then the next day, was it the next day? Let's check in. Yeah, anyways, the next day I continued to do some experimenting with drawing and even wrote down the pencils that I used to do these various things here, which then led me to doing that eye a couple of days later or the next day. Oh, so the exact next day. I think that drawing that probably took me maybe an hour, maybe, but that was from me coming from this to doing a study here and then doing that. Love doing this kind of stuff. And again, another great way to take notes is if you are on a call. In the office is how I used to use a lot of this. When I was in an office as an artist, this was just a great way for me to keep my attention focused, was to turn the page into some type of drawing. Just again, breaking up the information. So how do you decide to do this? For me, it was let me just break the page up into almost thirds. If somebody made a big point, I would just put it there. It's the easiest way to tackle a blank page, is to be open to it. Leave some room for a title, maybe a little drawing. The date is right up under there. What the talk was about was, I think it was about self-promotion, reminds people you exist. Some of the main points that they were talking about there, you're the solution to their problem. This 80-20 about promotion and creating when it comes to content. The funny thing is, was 2013. Why is this still technically relevant to us right now? The drawings are not perfect. In fact, you're one of, I don't know how many people will see this video, seeing this. I don't always share this type of stuff because it's not for other people, it's for me. So when you are creating your journals for yourself, this is why your pictures don't have to be perfect. It's for you. This is to help you recall information. Again, same thing. And also I would practice, remember the circle, the square, the triangle, the line, the dot. I would do this to remind myself that it's a sketch note. It's me taking notes to remind myself of something. But I would also sit and draw little things that might help me, photography sketches, things that might help me to draw as part of the recall if I was using a lot of information. And sometimes it is very text heavy. What you can do is take the notes, but leave spaces where you can go in and draw and add little things in there later. This was not a finished page. This was probably, I think I left room for the title and I was taking the notes. They would say some big point. I would just draw it out. Came in later to ink it more to make the letters thicker. Came in later to draw the spotlight because the perfectionist in me would have wanted this to be a perfect spotlight. It should have been perfectly centered coming down. So again, it's not about perfection. It's about you just doing what you need to do to have fun, add some visual interest to your page so you can do what you got to do, Same thing, just adding in some stuff. So the books that I use and love to reference when I want to get inspired, let me share a few of them here with you. This is it, Danny Gregory's Everyday Matters memoir. This is what got me into wanting to add drawings to my pages. The simplicity of just a simple black and white image. It's not perfect. It's not supposed to be, but the visuals add to the entire story of capturing your everyday and seeing that there is beauty in your everyday, that you can draw. Look at this. This is drawing a dog in various positions. Notice that they're not perfect, but they capture what the dog is doing. I know what the dog is doing just by the captures. Have a little bit more time, so you draw more sophisticated things. And there's a lot of pictures in here that are just black and white drawings. And then there are a few that have simple color in them. So Everyday Matters is a great book to help you get started. The Creative License was another one that was deeply inspiring to me. This is a book that I reference a lot when I'm like, I don't know how to draw. I can't do this. I don't know how to do it. Blind contour. I love me a good blind contour. I will sit and go through this book and I will look at and I will read what it says, and it just reminds me that I can, if I don't know what to draw, you can draw your pens. I have hundreds of pens. Draw your pens. Draw your things. Y'all, draw your pens. Draw your mug in the morning every single day. You will get better at drawing these things. So again, another great book to reference and to get the creative license. This is the one for sketchnoting. This is where I got the circle, the square, all of that. Mike Rohde breaks it down. I have loved this book since it first came out, and you couldn't tell me nothing. I'm trying to get to that one page. But just look at the stuff. He breaks down why he got started doing this, focusing on capturing the big ideas and what to use, and how he only uses these two tools, to get started. And I just absolutely love everything about this. Look, kids draw to express ideas. Ideas are conveyed through the drawings. Who told you that you were not an artist? And so this is that page, those 5 basic elements. All you need, the circle, the square, the triangle, the line, the dot. And because you have that, you can draw these things. You can draw a whole lot of things. This is another great book. He shares a few other artists and how they sketchnote. This is a great book to get you started with sketchnoting. And because I love this book so much, I got the workbook. The workbook is another great one. Teaches you some of the drawing techniques for how you can make your letters and your words thicker. Because keep in mind, if you're listening to a talk, look at this. Look. Concept. Look at the concepts a little more sophisticated. Look, you see all of this. And you can go and start having a section where you're drawing icons for yourself so that when these things come up, this is for education. This is for law, business. So you can go in here, and basically this workbook is what you use to help you build out your icon list. There are so many samples and different ways of documenting processes. Love it. This is the one. Albert Kiefer. Oh my God. Found him by way of some online workshop, and I was obsessed. He shares his approach. He shares his favorite materials. This is what made me believe I could draw buildings by keeping it simple. Let me tell you something. Freedom from precision. If you don't read anything from this book except this page, this right here will help you see how he comes from this simple sketch to this. Look at that. Inspiring. This whole book, absolutely love everything about it. He breaks down the process of picking your subject to the anatomy of a building. This game changer, game changer. And then the little details that you decide to share are what makes the building recognizable and unique. So I could sit here and go through all of these books and share everything that I love about them and why you want to have them in your life and why you should get them and why you should draw and everything. And I hope that you do draw more. And I hope that you share with me how you are using your notebooks and your sketchbooks. And I love seeing it. I love it. I love seeing how people collect ideas. So make sure that you like and subscribe if you have not already. Share this with someone who keeps telling you they can't draw. And I want you to come back to this whenever you tell yourself that you can't draw, you can't capture your thoughts, because yes, you can. We're all artists. We stopped believing we were artists when we were little, and we have to remember that we still are. So I can't wait to see what you create. I hope that this was inspiring to you, and I can't wait to share more of my notebooks with you.